Welcome, dear friend, to godly sleep, a place where your heart can finally rest. You don't have to carry the weight of the day any longer. Whatever has been pressing on your mind, the stress, the noise, the worries that seem to follow you even into the night, you can let them go now. Here, in this quiet space, you are safe. You are seen. You are loved. Close your eyes and take a slow breath in. Feel it. Fill your lungs. Then gently release it. As the world grows still, let God's peace begin to wrap around you like a warm blanket. Every word you hear tonight comes from Scripture, a message of hope, comfort, and divine calm that your soul has been longing for when you can't sleep, when the world feels heavy, when you just need a moment to breathe again. Come back here. You are not alone. Thousands of hearts are listening with you tonight, resting under the same promise of peace that God gives freely to all who seek Him. Here at Godly Sleep, we believe that rest is more than just closing your eyes. It's allowing your spirit to be renewed in the presence of the one who loves you most. So find a soft place to rest. Let go of your thoughts and allow the Word of God to lead you gently into peace. If this space brings you comfort, consider subscribing and joining our growing community of believers who seek nightly peace through Scripture and reflection. Together, we're building not just a channel but a family of faith, rest, and hope tonight. May you drift into sleep knowing that you are deeply loved, perfectly held, and never alone. May this time bring you rest, comfort, and a quiet sense of being held. I sit beside you with the Bible open on my lap. The lamp throws a soft circle of light. The room breathes slow and warm. You settle into the pillow. The blanket rests across your knees like a promise. I begin to read. My voice stays low and steady. Each word moves like a gentle tide. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Notice the rise and fall of your chest. Breathe in, breathe out. I read a psalm that paints a strange simple picture. A shepherd leads by gentle paths. Green grass lays soft beneath tired feet. Water is still and clear. Reflecting sky, the soul finds rest. Guidance feels natural, not harsh. Even on the loneliest walk, a presence walks beside. Comfort fills the cup. Even when darkness seems near, a quiet light stays close. A table is set in the presence of fear. Oil of kindness pours. Goodness and mercy follow every step. The path ends at home, at a place built for rest. I pause and let the image settle. Think of green grass beneath your feet. Feel the cool on your skin. Imagine a water so calm it holds every star. Allow that calm to sink slowly into the body. Each breath brings that stillness a little deeper. Let mercy move like a slow hand over the tense places. Next, I read a gentle invitation. Come to the one who calls with patient voice. Lay down heavy packs of worry and labor. The yoke offered is easy. The burden feels light in loving hands. There is rest for the spirit. There is ease for the heart. I speak these words softly, as if tucking them in around your ears. The invitation is simple. Accepting does not require elaborate change. It asks only for a willing pause. Let the shoulders ease again. Picture the pack slipping off, the rope falling away. Sense the relief near the collarbone. Let tension drain like water from a basin. Remember that the promise of rest is not a task to perform. It arrives as a gift. Breathe and receive. I turned the page and read about shelter and safety. A refuge stands in the shadow of the night. Under gentle wings is protection. Storms may sweep across the sky, yet a quiet place remains. Those who rest there do not need to fear the terrors of night. Even in times of trouble, a steady presence holds fast. Angels are named as quiet companions on the path. Peace becomes a guard around the heart. Imagine a canopy of warmth overhead. No threat can pierce that quiet. Feel secure in that space. Let the rhythm of steady breath become the rhythm of protection. Each inhale brings assurance. Each exhale releases unrest. I read of a care that is tender and small in its gestures. A shepherd counts the lambs one by one. He gathers the young close. He carries the weary on the shoulder. Strength is given not as pressure, but as bearing. Where hope falters, the spirit is lifted. Where energy wanes, a renewal comes as quietly as dawn. See the image of an eagle catching the wind. Wings beat once, then glide. Strength returns not through force, but through patient waiting on the breeze. Those who wait are lifted. They run and find their feet light. They walk and do not tire. The promise is not about sudden escape. It is about slow restoration, steady and sure. My voice rests on a passage that talks about worry and song. Do not let anxiety fill the heart. Bring every small concern and big worry in plain words. Offer them with thankfulness. That openness brings a kind of peace that stands guard over thoughts. It keeps the mind from wandering into storms. Let the breath be a way of giving these concerns away. Inhale and name what nags at you. Exhale and let it move beyond reach. Repeat this slowly. With each round, notice how the chest softens. Notice how the space around the heart becomes less crowded. Gratitude finds a small foothold. And with that foothold, peace grows. I speak now of light in the darkness. Night can be a time of many noises. Old fears come to visit. Memory plays images across the mind like shadows. Yet even in the deepest night, there is a steady lamp. The one who knows every name keeps a soft watch. That lamp does not demand proving. It simply burns. The light reaches into corners and loosens knots. Picture that lamp set on a wooden table beside your bed. Its flame is not harsh. It hums like a steady breath. Watch as it flattens the edges of sharp thoughts. Feel the warmth at the tips of your fingers. Let that warmth spread slowly down the arms. Let it slow the pulse. I read a promise that mercy is new each morning. Long nights do not cancel new dawns. A fresh mercy comes like dew. Hope awakens with the first birds. You are offered a clean slate, not because of performance, but because of grace. This is a quiet revolution. It does not shout. It reorders small things first. Let the idea of morning rest beside the night in your mind. Night does not have the last word, even though a seed of newness is planted beneath your ribs. Trust that it grows in the hidden places. Breathe into that slow growth. There is a passage about carrying burdens with help. When the road curves steep and rocky, help comes in shared steps. Hence reach out. A steady rhythm replaces the stumble. You do not walk alone. The path becomes manageable when support steadies the foot. This help is available in the hush of prayer, in the invisible acts of mercy, in the steady presence that walks without announcing itself. Feel the weight shift from one shoulder to two, then to none. The ground beneath is firm. Notice the contrast between the lone, tense stride and the soft, supported walk. Ease seeps in as the stride becomes even. I offer a brief moment of silence in which the words sink deeper. Let the heart name one true need. Keep it small. Give it a phrase in the quiet. Offer it gently. Then breathe it out like a leaf on a stream. Watch it float away. I speak now about hope that is not fragile. It is quiet and yet stubborn. It holds on across long nights. It remembers promises already kept. It keeps a soft gaze toward dawn. Even when details remain unclear, hope remains like a compass pointing to mercy. Hold that compass lightly between fingers. Trust it to steer through fog. You do not have to map the entire journey. One step. Then the next. Mercy lights the way. As I close a section of the reading, I remind you of the power of small rituals, the turning of a page, the folding of hands, the slowing of breath. Each gentle motion becomes a tether to peace. Rediscover the grace of small things. They stitch rest into the fabric of the night. I lead a short breathing rhythm now. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 2 counts. Exhale for 6 counts. Repeat. With each cycle, feel gravity soften the limbs. Let the mind settle into the calm rhythm. If thoughts arrive, notice them as clouds and return to the breath. Now I speak a blessing over the sleep before you. May your rest be deep. May healing touch body and mind. May mercy attend the edges of concern. May hope stand guard at the doorway of dreams. May grace meet every unspoken need. I do not ask for a perfect night. I ask for a faithful presence. I place that simple request into the quiet. I offer a short prayer of surrender. Said slowly and softly. I let go of the day's weight. I place worries like small stones into the hands of the one who holds everything. I breathe and trust. The breathing remains slow. The lamp remains steady. You may now allow the eyes to close. Let the pages rest. The room is warm. The blanket holds a familiar shape. If sleep comes quickly, welcome it. If it returns in small waves, meet it gently. Rest is not measured only by the hours. It is found in moments of surrender and in the quiet that follows. Before I leave this bedside, I promise to come again. There are more passages to share. There are further breaths to guide. Each visit will be slow and steady. Each voice will carry the same calm. For tonight, hold this assurance: you are known. You are cared for, and rest is given. I tuck the Bible closed like a cover over a small treasure. My hand stays a moment on the binding. A gentle benediction without words. The house hums low. The night listens. The presence that watches over the small will not sleep. Go now into the sleep that restores. Let mercy gather you like a soft shawl. Let hope keep one corner of the heart bright. I will meet you again in the next part, with the same steady reading and the same calm voice. Sleep in peace. I read an invitation that settles like a soft hand on the shoulder. It comes from a small place in the book. The words reach out in a simple way. They call the tired to come. They name the weight they carry without judgment. They offer a rest that is not earned, but given. I let the lines hang in the room. My voice is low and even. The syllables fall like slow rain. Picture a path that curves gently into a field. The sky is wide and quiet. Along the path sits a low bench beneath a broad tree. It waits without hurry. You are welcome to sit. Imagine the burdens like packs with many little stones. The pack is heavy enough to make the shoulders ache. You have carried it many steps. Now a hand opens beside the bench. The invite is to set the pack down. The hand does not pry or demand. It only offers a place to rest the weight. There is no shame in letting go. There is only relief. Feel the collar of the coat loosen. Notice the way the breath can move deeper when the shoulders uncurl. A knot at the base of the neck unwinds slowly. Allow the jaw to slack just a touch. The muscles that have held the day begin to relax. Each part that eases becomes a small invitation for the next part to soften. I describe the exchange of burdens in gentle detail. A yoke is laid gently across two shoulders. The one that is offered is easy. It fits with mercy. It moves in rhythm with your breathing. The heavy strain, you know, is not taken away by force. It is shared by someone steady and kind. Walking becomes possible again. The steps feel measured. Safe. Listen to how I read this. The cadence is slow. I allow space between thoughts. The space is where rest grows. In that space, you can name one small thing that troubles you. Name it softly. As a single word, place it on the bench beside the pack. No need for explanation. No need to fix it. Just name it. Breathe. Let the name be held for a moment by the one who bears burdens. I guide the body through a quiet practice. Place one hand over the heart. Feel the gentle seat of the chest. Notice the steady beat. Let the palm warm the skin. With each beat, imagine a small thread of care loosening. The thread unknots with the rhythm. The rhythm is simple and sure. Keep the hand there for 3 slow breaths. Now let the other hand rest on the belly. Breathe so the belly rises like a soft lift. Count inwardly as you take 3 deep, even breaths. No hurry. On each out-breath, picture a small weight dropping from the pack into the grass. The pack becomes lighter by a tiny measure. The walk forward seems less daunting. I describe the rest as a shelter rather than an escape. It does not remove problems. It places them in a space where they no longer press on the chest. The shelter has a low roof, wide enough to keep rain at bay. It lets a cool breeze in. Light filters through leaves. Inside, Simple food is set out. It is enough. The hands that prepare it know what it is to be weary. Think of the one who invites like a patient teacher. The posture is not that of a taskmaster. It is that of someone who watches with steady care. Instructions come like soft guidance. Learn to walk easy, to breathe with the tide, to rest between steps. This is a practice, not a performance. Small changes matter. An eased shoulder carries the next mile differently. I speak of mercy in quiet terms. Mercy appears like morning mist. It colors the air without shouting. It cleanses small dirt from tired skin. Mercy covers the things you regretted today. It tends to the small stumbles. It does not tally errors. It gathers what is frayed and mends with thin. Patient thread, allow that mending to begin now. Do not measure rest by the length of sleep alone. Rest shows in the loosened grip on worry. It shows in a kinder look toward yourself. It arrives in the space between thoughts where there is no demand to perform. Rest can be as small as a soft exhale that is meant for no one but you. I encourage a small ritual to seal the moment. Fold hands loosely in the lap. Let the fingers touch without squeezing. Imagine a small coin of light resting in the palms. It is a token of calm. It will not fix everything. It will remind you that a gift has been placed in safe hands. Keep the coin there for a few breaths. Let its warmth spread slowly through the fingers and up the arms. I offer a simple picture for the night that comes. The sea lies calm under a low moon. A small boat rocks in a quiet harbor. It moves with a steady, measured sway. The harbor walls hold it safe. Night sounds are gentle. A distant light keeps time. You are in that boat. You do not row. You rest. The motion is enough to lull muscles into letting go. If thoughts intrude, treat them like passing clouds. Observe them without chasing. Watch them change, shape and drift. You do not have to name them all. Give the most persistent a place on the bench. Let the rest move along, with each dropping of attention. Notice a small space open in the center of the chest. In that space, mercy rests like a small bird. I remind the heart that rest is a return to steadiness. It is a reclaiming of a pace that does not demand constant proving. The yoke that is easy moves in sync with your breath. It sets a rhythm you can follow without strain. Practice matching your steps to that breath. One step on the in-breath, one step on the out-breath. Owatim. Walking becomes a kind of prayer. Simple and true, the offer to rest is always present. It does not expire. It is not tied to a perfect showing. Even now, halfway through the night, the invitation waits. Choosing to accept it is a small gesture. It may be a quiet lowering of the shoulders. It may be the slow closing of the eyes. It may be a whispered yes in the mind. Any of these will do. I keep the theology small and warm. There is no demand for debate. The promise is practical. It means help in the everyday. It is an assurance that you are not meant to bear the heaviest parts alone. Companionship comes in steady ways. Help is sometimes a hand that steadies the foot. Sometimes it is a song that keeps time. Sometimes it is a silence that shares the weight before the night deepens. Name one thing you would like to leave on the bench. Make it small if that helps. A single regret, a worry about tomorrow, a tired thought that has circled all day. Say the name inwardly. Place it beside the pack. Watch as the hand that offers rest takes it gently. There is a soundless exchange. The weight lifts by the measure you gave it. I invite a closing breath exercise. Inhale for a steady count of 3. Hold a soft beat. Exhale for a slow count of 5. Repeat twice. On the last out-breath, imagine the coin of light settling into place near the heart. Feel the palm's warmth fade. Keep the hands resting, loose and easy. I linger a moment on the image of the bench and the broad tree. The leaves breathe with the night air. Small stars peek through. The path remains open. The bench remains free. You may return to it again and again. The rest you take there renews the step you will take when morning comes. I let the book rest open, as if pausing within a single sentence. The page holds a quiet promise. I will come back to read more later. For now, the invitation to rest keeps its space inside the chest. Mercy and calm sit nearby like companions. Close your eyes when you are ready. Let the room darken except for a sliver of nightlight. Lie in the posture that feels safest. Breathe slowly. Allow the image of the bench and the easy yoke to stay like a soft film over the mind. If sleep comes, accept it gratefully. If it does not, meet the stillness gently. I place no heavy expectation on this night. I only ask that you practice return to rest. One small breath at a time. Tomorrow arrives with its own mercy. Tonight, let the invitation settle in your bones like a quiet promise. When you are ready, I will close this part of the reading. I let the book lie face up on the table. My hand lingers on the edge of the page, as if to hold the line for your return. I will be back to read again. For this hour, live in the invitation. Rest is near. Rest is yours to accept. I open the book again and let the page rest under the lamp. The light is warm and steady. I place a hand on the cover for a quiet moment. The sound of the house is soft. The breath in the room matches the lamp's steady pulse. The line I read tonight names a simple truth. When a wrong is brought into the open, it loses some of its power. Confession is not a parade. It is not a list offered to shame. It is a small, honest naming. The promise beneath the name is gentle and certain. Faithfulness meets the confessed thing. Forgiveness follows. Cleansing comes like a tide that reaches the shore. I speak the idea softly, slowly, as if laying a bandage on a tired wrist. The balm that forgives is not earned by a long speech. It arrives when the heart turns and admits what it knows. The act of turning matters more than the sharpness of the words. An honest breath is enough to begin. Imagine a small tray set on the bench beneath the tree. On the tray sits a jar of balm. The jar's lid is loose. When opened, a fin cerise. It smells of clean linen and dawn air. The texture is cool and smooth. The balm is not heavy. It spreads easily. One small touch, soothes a raw place. It does not erase memory. It softens the edges. It makes walking possible again. I ask for a gentleness of mind. Pick one small wrong to hold. Not every burden at once. Choose one pebble instead of the whole sack. It could be a harsh word remembered, a kindness withheld, a worry that turned sharp. Name it with a quiet breath. No need for detail. One word will do. Place that one word on the bench beside the coin of light. A practiced motion follows. Place a hand over the place where the chest rises. Feel the soft warmth. With the other hand, imagine dipping a finger into the jar of balm. The touch is tender. Spread the balm over the small area that aches. Picture the balm seeping into the crack. Watch the color of the ache fade to a softer shade. The sting dulls. A cooling presence settles. This is not a magic erasure. Memory may still appear. The mind may recall the shape of the moment, but the weight that sits on the chest lessens. The shoulders relax by a fraction. The breath deepens. There is a relief that is subtle and lasting. I talk about honesty without harshness. Confession is not a ticket to scoldings. It is a doorway to healing. A safe room stands behind the doorway. The room is quiet and forgiving in its light. No ledger sits on the table. No counting of faults takes place. The atmosphere is one of care. The one who receives does so without tallying. The only task is to accept the relief offered. The promise is reliable. Faithfulness does not shift with mood. The hand that holds does not slip. Even when the mind doubts, the truth remains. Forgiveness comes as a steady fact, not as a reward for a tidy list. The heart can rest against that steadiness. I guide a small practice of release. Breathe in slowly and name the pebble. Hold the name gently. Then breathe out and picture the pebble moving into the palm of the one who listens. The motion is quiet. The pebble is small in the receiver's hand. It does not bruise. It cools. In that exchange, the chest grows lighter. Repeat this 3 times. The rhythm is simple. Inhale. Name. Exhale. Hand it over. Each cycle loosens a knot. Each cycle teaches trust in the act of giving what was carried alone. The muscles around the throat unclench. The jaw softens. The mind finds a new space between thoughts. I recall a brook where hands are washed. The brook is shallow and clear. Pebbles make small patterns below the surface. Kneel by its edge. Put the hands in. Let the cold water move between the fingers. The confession washes off like dust stirred from cloth. The water does not argue. It only cleanses. The skin prickles with the cool. The heart steadies with the simple motion. When I read these lines, the voice stays low. Pacing matters. No rush. The words come in single steps. The ideas settle like soft stones. Mercy appears in small, unshowy acts. The promise of forgiveness is one such act. It is a consistent hand on the shoulder, a steady lamp by the bed. Forgiveness brings a new footing. It does not remove all consequence. It does not pretend that choices never matter. It does. However, change the shape of tomorrow. A forgiven step can be a lighter one. The path ahead can feel less like a climb and more like a walk on a level road. The heart can try again without the same heavy dragging. I keep the theology quiet and simple. The aim is not debate, but rest. Mercy and faithfulness are presented as comforts. They are practical. A forgiving presence meets fears and turns them into lessons rather than prisons. Hope grows where forgiveness is known. There is a small ritual to hold through the night. Keep the hand on the chest. Let the other rest open on the lap. Imagine a light beginning where the palm touches the heart. The light spreads like a warm wash. It moves through the shoulders, down the arms, and to the tips of the fingers. The warmth settles in the belly. It flows to the feet. The whole body feels touched. Forgiveness is not only a legal term, it is a soothing of the whole self. If doubt returns, remember the steady facts. The hand that took the pebble does not drop it. The lamp that warmed the room stays lit. Faithfulness is like the wall of the harbor that keeps the small boat steady in rough weather. The promise of forgiveness stands like that wall. It does not move with the waves. Confession, practiced gently, becomes a companion. It is not meant to be a single big event. It is a habit of honesty, a short, quiet naming of error, followed by the small act of handing it over team. The habit reshapes fear. The heart learns to bring what is heavy before it crushes. The body learns to breathe before the panic gathers. I invite a soft breathing pattern now. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for a soft one. Exhale for 6. Repeat 3 times. On each out-breath, imagine the name of the pebble slipping into the palms beside the bench. Watch it rest there. Feel how the chest opens a little more with each exhale. Mercy is renewed in the morning, but it is also present now. Night does not cancel forgiveness. Darkness is not a barrier. The same faithful presence moves through the dark. The lamp by the bedside, the bench beneath the tree, the harbor wall, each holds the promise steady. The small acts of confession and receiving can happen now. In the hush, they can be as simple as a single word and a trusting breath. I fold the idea into a final image. A hand takes the pebble. The jar of balm is closed gently. The coin of light glows a little brighter. The lamp leans in. The bench waits for the next quiet visit. The harbor keeps the boat safe. The heart rests in the hush of being forgiven. I close the page slowly. The book makes a soft sound. My hand lingers on the cover for a moment. As a way of blessing the space, the sound of the house remains low and kind. If sleep comes now, let it carry the relief like a blanket. If wakefulness stays, let the image of the balm and the bench sit close. Return to the simple practice whenever the chest feels tight. Before I leave this bedside for tonight, a promise is kept. I will return with the same steady voice. Pages remain to be opened. Breath exercises will wait. Gentle words will come again. For this hour, rest in the fact that confession brings freedom. Faithfulness brings forgiveness. A faithful hand will keep the pebble. A balm will soothe the ache. The night holds the small bright truth. Close the eyes when ready. Let the body sink into the bed. Let the breath find its slow measure. Carry the coin of light to sleep. Trust the promise. I will be here again for the next part, with the same calm presence. Sleep in the easing that forgiveness leaves. I open the Bible and let the lamp make a soft arc on the page. The room breathes slow. A small hush gathers in the space between heartbeats. I say the chapter in my mind. The words that come are simple and clear. They say that what saves is not what is done to earn favor. It is given freely. It arrives like a present, not like a wage. I set the book on my knee. My voice moves slowly as if skimming the surface of water. Grace is a gift. It is not a tally of good acts. It is not a ledger kept to prove worth. It comes without condition that the receiver perform first. The gift asks only to be received. Picture a wrapped box set on a low table. The paper is plain and kind. The ribbon is soft. The hands that place it there do so gently. No labels shout demands. No fine print hides tasks. The box simply sits where it can be reached. It waits. The waiting itself is part of the kindness. I breathe in a way that lets that picture stretch. Inhale slowly. Let the chest widen like a small room opening its door. Exhale softly. Let the shoulders melt away from the ears. The breath moves the body into readiness to receive rather than to prove. The gift is not earned by polishing a list or by sweat. It cannot be pushed across by striving. Gifts are given. Gifts are accepted. The nature of a gift is to be chosen for another. Receiving reframes the heart. It asks for a soft yes, more than a long accounting. Imagine a warm cloth draped across cold hands. No one asks for an explanation. No one makes a bargain. The cloth warms by touch alone. The heat moves into fingers and then into the rest of the hand. The chill loosens its grip. A new ease settles where tightness used to live. This ease does not erase the past. It does not take away memory or responsibility. It moves the weight to a different place. What remained a burden becomes a lighter thing. The step forward is small, but freer. The pace is gentler. The mind finds space to breathe between the tasks. I describe the scene in a quiet voice. The gift sits without fanfare. A simple knot in the ribbon is undone, as if by an invisible patience. The paper peels back. Light pools at the edges. Inside, something rests that cannot be bought a presence. An acceptance. A warmth that calls the name without testing it first. There is a small ritual I like to suggest. Place both hands open in the lap. Do not clutch. Let the palms face up. Feel the weight of the hands themselves. Notice any tension at the base of the fingers. Take one soft breath and imagine that the palms are a place for the gift to land. Breathe out and let a quiet readiness widen the space around the collarbone. On the next inhale, picture the ribbon being loosened from the box. Let the breath carry the loosened ribbon across the tongue like a gentle taste. On the exhale, imagine the lid lifting a little. The heart makes a soft space as the lid moves. There is no hurry. Gifts are never rushed. Theological words can sometimes feel heavy. Tonight, they become homespun and quiet. Grace is a kindness first. It is a shelter before it is a word to study. It meets the ordinary aches and the midnight small anxieties. with the same tenderness. It neither demands spectacle nor withholds mercy. I guide a short breathing exercise that fits this idea. Breathe in for 3 counts. Hold the breath for 1 count. Enough to feel the stillness. Breathe out for 5 counts. Longer, so that releasing feels like the act of letting down a net. Repeat this pattern 3 times. With each out-breath, picture the ribbon sliding fully free and the lid lifting just a bit more. Let the mind rest on a single small truth. The gift is not a response to performance. It is not recognition of a flawless day. It is a present placed in waiting. When a person reaches, the present meets the reaching hand. The meeting itself offers rest. This rest is gentle. It arrives in the little movements of surrender. A shoulder drops. Eye softens. Eyes grow heavier without struggle. The body, long tuned to prove, learns a new cadence that begins to trust receiving. I speak now of a cloak rather than a box. A cloak is offered that fits over tired shoulders. It is not tight. It does not correct every fault by force. It wraps without demand. The fabric breathes. It lets the skin still feel wind and warmth. The cloak covers what chills, while allowing the wearer to continue moving with a protected ease. See the cloak in the mind's eye. It is not ornate. It is serviceable and tender. When it rests on the shoulders, the spine does not have to brace so hard. The muscles that have been holding to avoid pain now find a rhythm that is softer. Movement becomes less an act of defense and more an act of living. Grace in daily life looks like that cloak. It meets small failures with repair rather than exposure. It steadies footsteps and smooths ruffled edges. It does not hide the fact that the road sometimes turns rough. It simply makes the walking less frantic. I remind the room that being offered a gift does not mean passivity. Receiving is an act of trust. It is a hand that opens, not one that folds closed. It requires a tiny yes, that yes can be a breath, a soft thought, a slow acceptance of care. It is enough. There is a companion thought that comforts. The gift is not competitive. It does not withhold because others are present. Its nature is abundance. The box on the table is not the only one. The cloak is not a single garment. The generosity that gives does not ration by scarcity. The supply of this particular kind of kindness is wide and steady. This idea changes the way the mind looks at failure. If worth were earned by numbers, the scale would always tip, and life would become a ledger. Instead, if worth is treasured by gift, each small failure does not disqualify. It becomes an invitation to return for warmth and to try again. The heart learns to move without the fear of being forever judged by a single misstep. I offer now a quiet, practical exercise to close this section. Sit with eyes closed if that feels safe. Place one hand over the place where the ribs rise. Feel the heat of the palm there. The other hand rests loose on the thigh. Take a breath that fills the belly. Slow and even. As the breath leaves, imagine the hand at the ribs receiving a little warmth from somewhere gentle. Let that warmth spread slowly down to the hip and then to the knee. Let it travel to the soles of the feet. With that warming, name one small way the body aches from striving. Not a long list, just a single ache. Think of that ache as a thread pulled taut. Now picture the gift as a pair of patient fingers that release the thread. Knot by knot, watch the tension loosen. The body gives a tiny, grateful sigh. Grace like this asks for nothing dramatic. It tastes like a soft replenishing of breath. It looks like a chair pulled close beside a fire. The fire does not demand an inventory of merits. It simply warms. I keep the language plain. There is no need for complex argument. The goal is rest. The aim is hope that is quiet and kind. The mind can take these images into sleep. They can be the last things heard on a waking night, and the first remembered at dawn. I pause and let the image settle. The lamp trembles only with the hush of air. Hands remain open. Breath stays slow. The gift sits on the table, plain and waiting. The cloak rests on the back of a chair, ready to be lifted. Neither requires proof to show their presence. Before I close the book, I say a short blessing in my heart. May the gift meet the small longings tonight. May it come without demand. May the body and the mind receive a measure of peace. May hope, like a soft shawl, rest by the bedside and keep watch over sleep. Now, I fold the hands over the open page and place a palm lightly on the cover. The sound of the house is tiny. The book breathes under the hand. When the eyes feel heavy, allow them to close. Let the breath mark the acceptance. Let the simple yes move the body toward rest. I will return with the next part. There are more pages to open and more gentle passages to read. For this hour, accept the gift. Let the night's quiet carry it deep into sleep. Rest in the unearned kindness that waits. Trust the lamp to keep one small corner bright. Sleep in that steadiness. The lamp makes a narrow pool of light again. The room rests inside that circle. A hush fills the corners. I set the Bible on my lap and let the spine warm under my palm. The page opens easily. My voice comes low and slow. It moves like the tide in a quiet cove. A line from the page frames tonight. It speaks of a peace that does not follow logic. It is wider than explanation. It settles in places explanation cannot reach. That peace becomes a guard. It stands around thoughts and the place where feelings ride. It keeps a safe distance between worry and the heart. Picture a small garden inside. The garden sits behind a low stone wall. Inside, green beds are calm. Paths curve between soft herbs. Flowers lean into a light breeze. The wall does not feel like a prison. It feels like shelter. The wind from outside may shout. Inside the wall, the air stays measured. That is how peace arrives. It is a gentle fencing of the tender places. My reading slows so that the idea can sink. Each sentence is a small step. Each breath is a soft pause. Let the shoulders lower. Let the back ease into the mattress. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hear the quiet of the house. Let that quiet find you. Peace here is not a tidy absence of trouble. Storms still roll across the horizon. Troubling thoughts may still visit the mind. The difference is that an attentive presence stands between them and the chest. Imagine a thin pane of glass that keeps the rain from touching the skin. The sound of rain is there. The warmth of dry comfort is preserved. The thought of danger is not the same as danger itself. I name the place where peace rests. It sits behind the ribs and above the belly. It nestles in the chest like a small, steady ember. It does not blaze. It hums. Its heat is even and safe. When the mind reaches for fears, the ember glows a little brighter. It does not get overwhelmed. It keeps its steady light. A practice helps the image become real. Place a hand lightly over the place where the breath rises. Feel the gentle climb of air. With each inhale, imagine that a thin, luminous thread threads through the breath. The thread is silver and soft. It runs from the bridge of the nose, down through the throat, and into the center of the chest. With each exhale, imagine that thread widening. It becomes a band of light that presses lightly around the heart. The band is not tight. It is protective and kind. Repeat this breathing slowly. Inhale for 3 counts. Exhale for 5 counts. On the in-breath, imagine the guard warming. On the out-breath, watch worry loosen its grip. Each cycle makes the band feel more certain. The rhythm is small and steady. Let it set the pace for the body. Peace also touches the mind. The mind is often a room full of papers. Thoughts shuffle like loose sheets. They flit and flap with every breeze of memory. Now imagine a gentle hand that gathers those papers. It lays the most urgent ones on a table, neat and small. The rest are folded and placed in a drawer. The drawer is labeled care. It stays closed when not needed. The pressing thought is there. It does not have to take up all the space. Picture a keeper of the room. The keeper moves without hurry. Its eyes are calm. It does not scold the scattered papers. It simply arranges. When a fear knocks at the door, the keeper answers softly and closes the door on the more intrusive noise. The image is not a promise that nothing will enter. It is assurance that the room has a steady steward. I guide a slow attention exercise. Let the gaze rest at the edge of the eyelids. Do not strain. Notice the next thought that arrives. Do not chase it. Give it a name. A single word. Then imagine placing that word on the table in the room. Let it sit. Return to the breath. The act of naming creates a small distance. Distance makes room for a different response. The night often brings questions that feel heavy. Will tomorrow hold more pain? Will the quiet stay? Will the heart find rest? Those questions are real. They deserve acknowledgement. Peace does not answer every question. It simply holds the asker. It meets the question with a steady hand and a soft, watchful presence. Listen to the sound of my voice as it reads. Let the cadence be a map. Where the voice slows, breathe with it. Where it lengthens, let the mind soften. The words become small markers for the breath. Match them. Inhale on one phrase. Exhale on the next. The breath becomes a guard as well. Steady and reliable. Another image may help. See a wide river at night. The current moves, but the surface reflects the stars. The water is not still. yet it holds the sky. When currents pull, a few leaves may spin. They do not sink. The river's depth is calm, and it keeps the reflections safe from the turbulence above. The heart can be like that river. Movements happen. The peace below keeps the sky's light steady. This peace is not a reward for cleverness. It is not a prize for performance. It is an offering that rests on the lip of reach. The invitation is quiet. It asks for a soft hand and a tiny yes. Receiving it feels like allowing the hand on the chest to rest for a moment. It is not a permanent change in skill or a sudden curing of worry. It is a presence that steadies the pulse. Gentle rituals help. Before sleep, trace the outline of the palms. Feel the small lines. Let the fingers unfold one by one. Smile slightly at their simplicity. Imagine each fingertip touching a different star. Each star is a small promise. The body becomes a map of gentle lights. Let that quiet map guide the last thoughts of the day. If intrusive images return, treat them like small boats in the harbor. They bob and circle, but the harbor walls keep the waves from turning rough. Name the most insistent boat and imagine a rope being tied to its bow. The rope leads gently back to the shore. The boat ties and rests. Watching it tie does not mean ignoring it. It simply makes a way to keep it close without letting it drift into alarm. I speak softly about the guarding mind. It is not an armor of denial. It allows feeling. It receives sensation. The heart may ache and still be sheltered. The mind may remember and still be guarded. The work is not to harden, but to steady. Imagine a willow tree beside a stream. Its branches bend with wind. They do not break because the roots are deep. Peace is the root that keeps bending from breaking. There is a particular small prayer I say aloud in the hush. Each word is simple. Each line rests like a hand on the shoulder. The prayer does not argue with fear. It names it, and then lets the shelter do its work. You may echo the prayer in your mind. Let the voice of the prayer be a light tap that calls attention back to the steady ember in the chest. Breath one more time with me. Inhale, slowly. Hold the breath for a soft moment. On the out-breath, picture a thin veil descending between the mind's noisy place and the heart's quiet place. The veil sifts the thoughts. It keeps the sharpest edges from cutting. Repeat. Let the veil become thicker with each breath. Let it be translucent, not opaque. The world is not hidden. It is softened. The heart learns to trust the guard. Trust grows like small plants through cracks in stone. It takes repeated cycles of resting and watching. Each gentle breath is a small planting. Over time, the pattern of guarded rest becomes an unforced habit. The mind tilts less toward panic. The body finds a more even pace. I fold the book slightly, as if making a soft bookmark. My hand lingers on the page. The lamp keeps its circle. The house sleeps around the edges like a slow tide. If sleep comes now, let it be softened by the image of the garden or the river. If wakefulness stays, let the band of light around the heart be a companion for the long night. Before the page closes, a blessing is given. It is not flashy. It is a small, steady wish. May the peace that surpasses understanding tuck itself into the hollow places. May it stand watch without noise. May it be a gentle keeper of both thought and feeling. May each breath remind the body of refuge. I ease the book closed with care. The cover makes a mute, small sound. My hand rests on it a moment, as if sealing the shelter for the night. The lamp throws one last tender circle. The breath slows further. I promise to return. There are more passages ahead, more slow breaths, more quiet images, more small practices to hold. For now, let the peace chosen tonight be a thin, faithful guard. Let it keep watch, so the heart and the mind may rest a little longer. Sink into that keeping. Allow the ember to be tended by your breath. Sleep, when it comes, will find you held. I will be here again to read, to breathe, and to stay low and steady beside this quiet light. The lamp is still warm on the bedside table. I sit very near and open the book. The pages whisper as they turn. A line catches my eye. It asks for stillness. It invites knowing. It points to a presence that does not demand a loud reply. I tell you the verse in a simple way. Be still, it says, and know that God is near. The sentence itself feels like water poured slow. It asks for a pause. It asks for attention that does not chatter. Hearing it at night makes the request gentle. It comes like dusk, not like a trumpet. I imagine the stillness as a shallow stream. The stream is narrow and honest. It slips between small stones. It hums low and steady. Anxiety arrives sometimes like a knot of dry leaves. The stream does not fight the leaves. It meets them with motion. It carries them away, a little at a time. The steady movement is enough. Picture the stream beside a footpath. Soft moss grows along the bank. The water touches the skin at the ankles. It is cool and clean. Each passing ripple smooths a place where the mind feels rough. The touch is not sharp. It is patient. The pressure of the day loses its edge. I read these words aloud, and then sit quiet. The voice becomes a lull. The silence that follows is a kind of listening. In that listening, the presence is not far off. It is close as the air breathed in the room. It has no hurry. It waits without pushing. That waiting changes the body first. Muscles that have braced let go. The chest widens. The shoulders descend in slow obedience. Slow breathing helps the picture settle. Breathe in for 3. Pulse soft. Breathe out for 5. Match the rhythm to the stream's pace. Inhale as the water swells around a pebble. Exhale as it flows forward. Let the breath carry the small burdens downstream. There is no need to force them off all at once. The work of the stream is gradual and faithful. Choose one steady image to hold. See a single leaf caught just long enough to learn balance. Name the thing that sits on the chest. Do not expand it into a list. Give it a word. Say the word in the mind once. Place it at the edge of the stream. Watch it take. The current takes the name and moves it along. It does not erase the thing, but it removes its ability to crowd the breathing space. Recognizing God's presence is quieter than many expect. It is not a thunderclap. It is a steady undercurrent. The presence feels like the weight of a hand resting near the collarbone. It is gentle, but it steadies the ribs. When thoughts rush like small stones splashing, the undercurrent steadies. The water, the surface calms. The sky's reflection is given a chance to return. I keep the theology small and practical. The presence meets the simple, daily anxieties. That meeting looks like a calm attention more than a set of arguments. It is less about proving and more about being held. The bedrock of this presence is quiet faithfulness. The faithful one in the verse is not flashy. The faithfulness is like a bank that contains the stream, shape and steady. A short practice makes the knowing feel true for the body. Place one hand over the heart. Feel the rise. Keep the other hand at thigh or by your side. Soften the jaw. Let the tongue rest behind the teeth. Imagine the cool water at the ankle traveling inward on a thin current. With each in-breath, it moves a little higher. With each out-breath, it carries a small bit of tension down and off. The motion is calm. The motion is simple. Think of the presence as a quiet companion walking beside the stream. The companion does not hurry the steps. It matches them when worry speeds the pace. The companion slows the step. The slowing is not a command. It is a welcomed alignment. The companion's voice is not loud. It simply says that the road is held in safekeeping. The night often brings sharp questions. What will morning ask? Where will strength come from? Will sleep actually come? The verse's invitation does not answer every question in detail. Instead, it roots the fearing mind in a posture. Be still. The posture is an embrace of trust that allows the body to accept rest in increments. Trust here is small. It is a hand placed on the thigh. It is a brow smoothed by a breath. I guide a focused exercise. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Picture the stream and its bank. Hear a soft ripple. Name 3 small things that press on the thought life. Keep each name short and calm. One by one, place them on the surface of the water. Watch them float. Notice how the first one might drift slower than the last. Notice how the stream's steady motion eventually loosens the hold they had. Return to breathing. Let the mind watch without chasing. Presence also looks like a kind of permission. Permission to be quiet. Permission to stop doing for a little while. Permission to let the mind rest in the company of the one who knows the unanswered parts. That permission is a practical kindness. It lets the body stop measuring. The chest learns a slower tally. Inhale. Hold. Release. In those moments, a new confidence appears. It is small but reliable. When fears reappear, the method does not crumble. Return to the stream. Do not scold the fear. Offer it the same route downriver. The water accepts all manner of leaves and twigs. It does not pass judgment. The practice trains the nervous system to expect acceptance. That training rewires late-night alarm into passing notice. I pause now and let the breathing run its gentle rhythm. The house gives a few soft creaks. The lamp drops its small, steady glow. The page in the Bible looms quietly. The verse is called to be still, does not require complexity. It asks for a posture of attention and a willingness to let the presence be present. The simplicity is its power. Imagery helps. Again and again. See a wider pool ahead where the stream slows. The leaves and twigs settle there. The water becomes mirror-like. In that mirror, stars rest. The starry calm is not earned. It is found when motion slows and breath steadies. To know the presence is to look into that mirror and recognize a reflected steadiness that matches the inward stillness. Keep this final practice small. Breathe in for 2. Hold a beat. Breathe out for 6. On the out-breath, imagine the stream widening to meet a broader calm. Let the chest soften. Let the muscles that brace the neck release by a fraction. Name no more than one worry before the next inhalation. Give it to the flow. If more worries arrive, treat them as gentle passengers, not invaders. I read the verse again in quieter words. Be still. Know that God is near. The words are only a pathway. The stream is the echo. The presence is the destination. The practice is not about proving devotion. It is about finding rest in the midst of a noisy life. It is about steadying the heart enough so sleep can come with mercy. Before I close the book tonight, I speak a short benediction in soft thought. May the stream keep moving through the anxious places. May the presence meet the small and stubborn parts of the night. May stillness be a friend rather than an absence. May the body accept a measure of relief. I let the page rest. The lamp circle narrows to a last glow. The room keeps its hush. If sleep takes you now, welcome it without apology. If wakefulness lingers, return often to the stream. Be still. No. Let the presence do its quiet work. I will come back to read more. There are other images ahead, and more small practices to hold in the dark. For now, tuck the thought of the stream into the ribs. Let it wash where it can. Breathe slow. Rest in the knowing that presence watches. Steady and patient. The lamp is warm on the table. The book opens easily on the lap. A single line rests in the margin of my mind. Those who hope in the Lord find their strength made new. The sentence is simple. It is an offer. I tell a story first. It is quiet and small. Once, a man plants an orchard. Years pass. Some seasons bring plenty. Other seasons bring hard drought. The trees bend and wait. The man walks among the trunks each morning. He checks the soil with his hand. He waters the young shoots. When the well will allow, hope for a good harvest is not flashy. It is steady work and steady waiting. One spring, after a winter that seemed to take everything, small buds break. The man watches them with a soft awe. He does not leap at the first green. He tends the shoots with patient hands. Strength returns not as a sudden flood, but as a rising inside the arms. The back that had stooped finds a little more lift. The heart that had braced grows lighter. Hope kept him near the trees in the small, cold hours. Hope makes the body willing to work again. That willingness is the renewal. Another evening. A woman sits by a dim kitchen window. The day has taken more than it gave. caring for others, paying small bills, smoothing 1,000 tiny hurts, each one a small weight. She holds a cup of tea that is almost forgotten. In the quiet, a very soft memory comes, a child's laugh, a pair of hands held in a hospital room, a song hummed in a small car. The memory is not dramatic. It is steady. It moves through the chest like a slow tide. Hope settles where the jaw tenses. The shoulders drop. The hands unclench. A strength follows that is not about finishing the list, but about finding the next small, kind thing to do. The woman makes that small thing. Renewal shows us patience. Renewal is a new pulse beneath old fatigue. A third story is of a small town. After a storm, the river rose higher than anyone expected. Roofs lost tiles. A fence fell into the field. The day after, neighbors come with ladders and warm bread and spare blankets. The work is quiet. A child hands a nail to an old man. A young woman brings a kettle of soup. The town is not suddenly whole. The repairs are slow, but a new strength spreads in the way. Hands find each other. Hope in one another grows. It turns tired limbs into steady steps. People who thought themselves too worn notice they can lift another board or carry another bag. Renewal appears as shared labor. It arrives when hope becomes common and hands begin to move together. These stories all hold one quiet thing in common. Hope is not a dramatic surge. It is a slow tending that meets tiredness with small acts and patient waiting. The breath grows deeper. The shoulders stop doing so much work. Strength returns in measured steps. This is what the sentence aims at. It promises a renewal that meets the everyday. Listen to the next practice as a story. 2. Place a hand on the chest. Feel the rise and fall. Place the other hand just below the ribs. The two hands mark a small house of breath. Breathe in and imagine a gentle well of cool water opening beneath the palms. The water fills the house slowly. It is not a flood. It coats the inside softly. Think of strength as that well filling the body from inside. Each in-breath draws a little more of the well towards the shoulders, the jaw, the knees. Each out-breath lets a heavy place slide down and out. Try this breathing now. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 1 soft beat. Exhale for 6 counts. Repeat 3 times. On the inhale, picture roots pressing deeper into the earth. Feel the feet meet the bed, the floor, the ground. On the exhale, imagine a small weight unhooking from the collarbone. Let the shoulders loosen a little more each time. The pattern is deliberate. It trains the nervous system to expect a gentler rhythm. Over a few cycles, notice how the limbs stop bracing so tightly. A memory practice follows. Think of one of the stories just now. Do not enlarge it. Keep it small. Picture the orchard trees bud. Picture the steam rising from the forgotten tea. Picture a neighbor's hand steadying a ladder. Hold the scene like a small photograph. Let it rest in the center of the chest. Naming a tiny scene anchors hope in the mind. The anchor does not solve every worry. It gives the body a place to land. There is another image that helps gently. Imagine a wellspring beneath stones. The The stones look rough and old. Water runs under them quietly. It does not shout. When a dry patch shows above, the spring does not vanish. It moves more slowly to that place. Over time, the soil revives. Green returns in the thin streaks. Strength rises, measured as the ground softens underneath the feet. In the same way, hope in the Lord acts like a wellspring. It attends to the dried places and sends small currents of renewal. A short movement can anchor the body in that image. Lift the arms slowly toward the ceiling as if reaching for a low branch. Hold them there for a slow breath. Let the ribs expand, then lower the arms with the out-breath, as if placing a harvested fruit into a basket. The motion is small, deliberate, almost a bow. Repeat twice. The body remembers how to move without sharpness. Fatigue loses some of its claim. Stories also teach with contrast. Once, a person trusted only their own strength. Plans were tight and perfect. The load grew heavier. Muscle and will gave out. Then a quiet turning happened. Not a sudden conversion. Just a slow realization that life had been measured by a ledger that never balanced. That person let a different hand carry the last load. Strength returned in a softer rhythm. The lesson is simple. Hope shared lightens the weight and renews the step. The mind may raise objections. What if the morning does not bring change? What if the body resists? The stories do not promise instant recovery. They promise a process. They promise help that meets the usual pace of life. The kind of renewal spoken of here works inside the ordinary. It does not require grand gestures. It asks only for a quiet patience and a willingness to reach for one small step. A gentle ritual closes this segment. Place palms together lightly, not in a tight grip, but with a greeting of rest. Press thumbs together and feel the small pressure. Think of a single word that holds hope. Choose one like rise, or renew, or hold. Say the word inwardly on the in-breath, on the out-breath. Let the body settle into the meaning. Repeat this 4 times. Let the word be a tiny drum that calls the muscle of hope into the chest. A short promise follows. I will read a passage that has the same patient ease in the next part. More quiet stories will come. More small practices will wait. Tonight, keep one image by the bedside abud. A kettle of tea, a ladder, and return to it when the night presses. Let the image be a small compass. Let it measure one step at a time. Before the eyes close, offer a soft blessing inwardly. May strength come not as a heavy force, but as a slow filling. May hope be a steady friend. May the body accept small renewal. May the heart find a rhythm that keeps the feet willing to move tomorrow. Rest now into that hope. Let breath be the measure. Let smallness be enough. The lamp hums low. The book rests on the knee. The hands ease from the page. When sleep comes, let it carry the stories gently. When wakefulness lingers, return to the wellspring of breath. The voice will return with the next part. For now, hold the quiet assurance hope finds a way to renew the tired. The Bible lies open. The lamp warms the page. A hush gathers where breathing slows. My hand rests on the binding for a moment. The hush is enough to make words feel near. The lines I read are short and plain. They say that the love offered to us does not run out. Nothing pulls it away. Nothing slices through it. The rhythm of the sentence is steady. It becomes a kind of assurance you can wear. I think of love as a tether, not a rope that binds unwillingly. A tether that holds with care. Picture a long cord. Soft and strong. One end is knotted close to the heart. The other end reaches into a vast quiet. It anchors in what steadies even when the night is loud. The cord does not fray at the edges of fear. It does not furnish in sudden storms. It is made for holding. Hold that picture lightly. Do not make it tidy. Let its texture be familiar. The cord might feel like woven linen, or like braided grass. It is not cold metal. Its strength comes from patient weaving. Each thread is a kindness. Each knot is a promise kept. On the bedside, fingers find a slow rhythm. Place one hand over the heart and feel the rise. A second hand rests on the thigh. Breathe in for 3 beats. Breathe out for 5. On the in-breath, imagine the tether drawing near. On the out-breath, picture the gentle pull as an ease rather than a yank. The motion is mutual. Receiving is part of the pattern. Think of small things the night brings. An old worry, a half-formed fear. Name one of them inwardly with a single word. No need for detail. Place that word at the center of the tether in the mind. Watch as the cord wraps a little around the worry. It does not hide the thing. It keeps it from falling into an abyss. The tether carries it in steady company. This love is not a reaction to performance. It is not a balance sheet that tips one way or another. The tether does not demand proving before it tightens. Its presence is not earned by a list of good deeds. That steadiness is the comfort. Reach out a hand and place the worry on the cord. Feel the strange relief when weight is met by something steady. Imagine the tether full length. It threads through seasons. It moves across weather. In storm, it is thick with salt and wind. In calm, it lies soft on the ground. It runs through life's most ordinary moments, as easily as it runs through the deepest ones. Nothing in all of living slices. That truth is simple and radical at once. A quiet exercise helps the image become felt. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Breathe in slowly. Picture the tether as a warm band around the chest. Not tight, but sure. With the next exhale, imagine that the band widens into a loop that reaches beyond the room. Let the loop anchor in a place that feels like shelter. The feeling is not flashy. It is like the slow settling of a quilt. Sometimes fear takes the shape of distance. I am alone, says a small voice. The tether answers by being there anyway. When the mind counts reasons for doubt, let each reason be a small leaf that the cord gathers. It holds them. It does not let them vanish without care. It keeps them close to the light. What breaks the tether? Some nights wander. In the hushed corners of worry, nothing. Not height, not depth, not a long silence, not a sudden misstag, not old regrets. The statement in the text is large, but tonight it is made small and near, close enough to fit under the palm. close enough to be carried in one breath. I read the thoughts slowly. The words land like soft stones. They are not meant for an argument. They are meant for a resting place. Let them rest here. Let the thickness of the cord be a quiet law of the sky. Let it reassure where the mind tends to wander. Another image may help. Picture a small boat tied to a harbor post. The tide moves. Waves come. The harbor post stands in wet sand. The boat rocks, but the rope on its cleat keeps it from floating away. Night winds whistle. The cleat keeps the line. The boat cannot be taken from the post by a simple gust. It stays within the circle, where helpers can reach it. Take this night as harbor. The tether is the line. The post is what holds steady beyond sight. When hands in the dark no longer know where they are, the line remains. The body can let go a little and trust the mooring. There is a quiet practice to try. On the first inhale, imagine warmth moving from the tether into the chest. On the second inhale, feel that warmth travel to the shoulders and down the arms. On the third inhale, let it slip to the knees and into the soles of the feet. Each out-breath releases a tiny fragment of the night's tightness. Let it fall away like dry leaves. Keep the images small and plain. No need for ornate language. The aim is rest. The aim is steady assurance. When worry circles back, treat it the way one tends a friend who stirs in sleep. Move without shock. Offer the tether. Breathe. Be present. Sometimes the night brings hard questions about worth. The tether answers not by listing reasons, but by breathing its kindness into the ribs. Imagine a name, quietly called and answered. No demands. No lid got kipped. The sound of that answering keeps the marrow calm. It is not loud. It is enough. The thought of being held across time can be strange. Past mistakes feel big because the mind presents them sharp. The tether does not deny the shape of those memories. It simply keeps them from defining the entire story. They are held, and a softer light falls on them. The future can feel heavy because of unknowns. The tether reaches forward through that unknown, a companion that cannot be pulled away by uncertainty. If grief is present, let the tether meet it without shortcuts. Grief is not erased. It is shared. Imagine the cord as a hand placed on the shoulder of the grieving. Steady and soft, the hand does not take the pain from the body by force. It stands with it. That standing is enough to change the weight's shape over time. Mercy finds a place in this image. The tether is threaded with mercy. Mercy is not an abstract word tonight. It is a small, consistent pull that answers in the dark. When a person reaches out in doubt, the cord tightens a little, as if to say, I have you. The language of mercy is action, even if silent. There is a simple ritual before sleep that can make the sense of holding corporeal. Place both hands on the chest. Let the thumbs rest near the sternum. Feel warmth gather where the hands touch. On a slow inhale, imagine drawing the tether's warmth into that space. On the exhale, let a soft release move through the body. Repeat this pattern 3 times. The motion does not force peace. It invites it. Thoughts may come during the practice. Let them pass like small birds at dusk. Notice them without chasing. Return the attention to the tether. Keep the rhythm plain. Inhale. Exhale. The tether keeps its quiet work. Sometimes the mind asks for proof. Proof can be a small thing, a remembered kindness, a morning when strength returned, the way another hand came near in a hard hour. Name one such memory now, and let it sit beside the chest like a pebble. The tether does not need proof, but welcomes the pebble. It becomes a weight held and warmed. The assurance in the passage is not meant to end questions. It is meant to keep the questions from becoming prisons. Even when the house is silent and the clock's thought is loud, the tether remains. This is the promise. It steadies the night. I will read more of these words in time. For now, let this part be enough. Let the tether image stay like a thin ribbon across the mind. Let it remind the body to slow. Let it meet the small stabs of fear and hold them in a softer hand. A brief closing exercise helps the body settle. Breathe in for 4. Hold 2 quiet counts. Breathe out for 6. On the out-breath, imagine the tether settling into a gentle loop around the heart. Feel how the loop cradles rather than confines. Breathe once more and let the eyelids close if they are ready. I place the Bible closed on my lap, palm lingering on the cover as a small benediction. The house keeps a soft hush. The lamp's glow narrows. A promise sits between the pages and the hand. The tether is not a phrase to memorize. It is a presence to trust. Sleep if it comes. If not, return to the image. Let the cord be a companion for the long stitches of the night. Rest in the fact that nothing in life or death, high or low, present or to come, can pull away this steady holding. That is a quiet truth to carry. I will come back to read again. More passages wait. More soft practices will follow. For now, let love hold the chest like a warm, sure band. Let mercy breathe beside the pillow. Let hope keep a small corner bright. Good night. Dieu. Letting go of worry. I turn the page and find a short sentence that settles like a soft footstep. It says not to worry about tomorrow. It asks for today, alone. The line sounds small, almost like a hush. That hush is a permission. My voice stays low as I read it aloud. The words fall into the room like warm rain. Each one asks for a single thing. Take the next day in single breaths. Worry tends to grow by invitation. It rehearses scenes that are not yet true. Tonight I ask for a different habit. I invite a smaller attention. Picture a pocket sewn inside a coat. The pocket is deep and lined with calm cloth. One by one, place tomorrow's small frets into the pocket. A bilddue. A brief meeting. A hard word that might come. Fold each worry into a neat square and tuck it away. The pocket keeps them near but not pressing against the ribs. For now, they are set aside. Let the heart be like that coat. It keeps things safe without letting them crowd the lungs. The act of folding matters less than the decision to do it. Choose one worry and make the motion. Name it quietly. Fold it. Tuck it in. Breathe. Notice the space that opens at the collarbone. I speak about trust with a gentle image. Trust is not a single grand leap. It is a steady walk where hands meet and exchange burdens. The day's provision is like water in a jar. It appears in measured amounts. The hand that gives knows the measure. The task is only to reach and accept. Acceptance looks like a loosened jaw and a softened gaze. Breathe with me in a small rhythm. Inhale for 3. Hold for a breath. Exhale for 5. With each out-breath, imagine a tiny worry lifting from the chest and placing itself in that pocket. Do this slowly. Let the rhythm teach the muscles to let go. If the mind pulls back, name the tug without scolding and return to the breath. There is a practical habit I recommend. Before sleep, think of one thing that must be done tomorrow. Make a single note, on paper or in the quiet of the mind. Write one sentence, I will do this at this time. The act of naming transfers a worry into a plan. Plans are lighter than ruminations. Put that paper in the pocket of the coat in your imagination. Let the mind know it is held. A common fear is that letting go is careless. Tonight, I reframe it. Letting go is not abandonment. It is an act of stewardship. The steward hands the ledger to a steady keeper. The ledger remains, but the keeping changes hands. The sense of responsibility remains, but the burdens do not rest on the throat. I speak of care as simple as bread. When someone offers bread, one does not gnaw at it with suspicion. One accepts, breaks a piece, and eats. Mercy provides like that bread. It sits nearby. Reaching is not weakness. Reaching is an exercise of trust that keeps the chest softer. Picture a lamp on a low table. It's light, steady. Worry may circle the edges like moths. Leave them to flutter. Do not let them come close to the flame. The lamp is a faithful presence. It gives enough warmth and no more. Rest in that measured light. Let the shadows be softer at the edges. There is a small practice to calm the mind when future fears press. Place one hand over the heart and the other flat on the belly. Breathe so the belly rises first. Then the chest. On each out-breath, imagine a small slipknot untying at the base of the skull. Feel the neck change its shape. The knot loosens slowly. This motion is quiet and unhurried. Repeat it 3 times and notice how the shoulders follow. Earlier mornings are often the worst offenders. The mind wakes early to rehearse. Here is a simple guard. Choose a watchword, one short word that implies trust. Enough, or stay, or here. When the mind begins to make lists, say the word softly inside. Let it be a small barrier. The watchword does not argue. It returns attention to the steady breath. The promise in the verse is not a magical escape from trouble. It is a way of walking through trouble without letting it become the whole horizon. Provision may come in ways that look small and sometimes puzzling. A neighbor's kindness, a surprise call, a shift in the plan. The pattern is subtle. The work is to remain present enough to see the help when it arrives. If the mind insists on a longer rehearsal, offer it a limited stage. Give it exactly 5 minutes. Use a gentle timer. Let the worry speak its name, its shape, its likely outcomes. Then fold it up and place it in the pocket. Close the lid of the practiced box. This technique trains the mind to expect a boundary. Boundaries are not cold. They are a kind of mercy. There is comfort in routine. Before sleep, place 3 small items on the bedside table, a written note of tomorrow's single task, a soft cloth to remind the skin of calm, and a simple verse or line to return to. These things form a small altar of readiness. They do not carry the weight. They carry the promise of return. I close this section with an inward prayer of release. I breathe and say a quiet word of handing over. The action is tiny, but it changes the posture of the night. The chest breathes deeper. The temple of the body loosens. The pillow becomes a place to rest. Not a confessional for every fear. Sure. Seeking. I turn the page and find another small instruction. Seek first. The sentence asks for a single priority. It places one thing before the rest. The tone is not harsh. It is like a teacher showing a path that a small child can follow. Seeking first, the kingdom shapes the order of the day. It does not mean ignoring needs. It means arranging them so the heart has a central place to return to. The heart that seeks is steadier. The mind becomes less scattered. Priorities align like pieces of a simple wooden puzzle. Imagine a small garden in the center of a larger yard. Around it are many beds, each with its own tasks. If the gardener tends the central bed first, the other beds work more simply. Plants receive water in rhythm. Paths remain clear. The whole plot breathes. The central bed is not distant. It is the place one returns to when tasks threaten to take over. This seeking looks like a morning habit more than a grand decision. Begin the day by naming a small truth, a phrase no longer than a breath. It might be love first, or give thanks, or listen. Make it the first movement. Let it be the compass you check before doing anything else. The small habit changes the face of the day. There is a reassurance attached to seeking. The promise is that when the central thing is sought, provision for other things follows in due time. That does not mean every need disappears. It means that the worry about them loses its hold. The central pursuit orders attention and clears room for grace to work. I offer a brief practice for bedtime to prepare for this posture of seeking. Take a soft breath and place the left hand over the place where the heart rests. Let the right hand cup the left as if sheltering a small flame. Think of a single priority for tomorrow. Picture it like a seed placed in the palm. Say the short phrase silently as you press the seed into the imagined soil of the chest. Then breathe out and trust the soil to do its slow work. Seeking also changes the posture of asking. The mind learns to ask for bread after it has leaned toward the central bed. Requests come from a place of clarity. They are not scattered, pleas flung toward the dark. When the heart is ordered, the petitions are simpler and steadier. If it feels like a heavy request to seek first, start smaller still. Begin with one small act that honors the priority. Prepare a cup of tea with attention. Write a 2-line note of gratitude. Turn off a screen a few minutes earlier and listen to a quiet sound. Each small act rewires the nervousness that prefers doing many things badly to doing one thing well. The night is a good place to rehearse this way of life. Before sleep, take inventory in 3 parts. First, name one thing that mattered today. praise it lightly. Second, name one mistake. Offer it a kind correction and fold it into the pocket of the coat. Third, name one small priority for tomorrow. Place it like a seed in the chest. This simple inventory keeps the rhythm steady. When anxieties about tomorrow rise, return to the seed in the palm. Ask whether the worry moves the seed closer to growing. If it does not, tuck the worry back into the pocket and return to the seed's care. The practice trains attention to be purposeful. There is a quiet courage in seeking. It does not depend on immediate proof. It depends on trust that rearranging attention changes what is seen. A steady seeker notices opportunities. A scattered one misses them. The sleeping mind is a good training ground. Plant the seed tonight and let it be watered in the morning by simple decisions. I pause and let that thought sit. The room is quiet. Breath moves like a tide. Seeking first is a small stance, not a list of rules. It is a way of ordering the day so that mercy finds a place to land. It softens the heart toward the ordinary. Before I close this part of the reading, I offer a brief exercise to seal the practice. Breathe in deeply. Picture the central bed in the garden. Breathe out and imagine watering it with one clear intention. Repeat this 3 times. Feel how the chest supports the small seed. Feel how the shoulders stop their hurried work. I close the book gently and let the cover rest on my hand. The lamp keeps a steady glow. The promise in these pages is not loud. It is patient and practical. Take the day's worries, one at a time. Seek the central thing first. Let the small practices guide the larger heart. When eyes grow heavy, allow them to close. Let the pocket keep the worries. Let the seed sleep beneath the hand on the chest. I will come back to read again, with more simple words and small habits to carry into the night. Rest now in the rhythm of single breaths and ordered attention. Sleep quietly. The lamp is low. The Bible rests open on my lap. The page glows in the warm circle of light. My voice comes soft. I read again, not with loud debate, but with simple telling. The line I read tonight speaks of a glow that meets dark places. It says that the one who stands in the doorway of night calls himself the light of the world. He does not glare. He invites. He sets a steady lamp in the path. I picture that light as a slow dawn. It lifts the edge of the horizon first. Then it moves inward. Shadows shrink where the light lands. Doubts that once thickened into shapes loosen like frost under a gentle sun. Fear stops feeling like a room full of sharp things and becomes a shadow that the light can skim across and soften. Listen to the cadence of the reading. Let the words fall like soft rain. Each one is a small opening. Allow the chest to ease with each phrase. Breathe in, breathe out. The breath becomes a footstep. With each breath, imagine placing one foot into the light. Walk with me in this picture. A narrow lane stretches ahead. The lane is not perfectly straight. There are small stones and roots. The light ahead is steady and sure. It does not erase every bump. It makes each obstacle visible, no longer hidden. The little things become manageable. The knowledge of what lies underfoot calms the mind. The eyes do not need to dart. The shoulders do not need to brace. The light is soft and warm. It does not demand brilliance. It sits near like an old friend who knows how to move in small rooms. When worry creeps up, the light touches it first. The touch does not scold. It washes out the jagged edges. A fear that once looked large becomes a small object to step around. A memory that once stung loses some of its sharpness when the light rests on it. Place a hand lightly on the heart. Feel the warm rise of the ribs. Imagine a thread of light dropping from the lamp onto that spot. The thread rests like a gentle ribbon. It wraps once around the chest and settles. The pressure is not heavy. It is a companionable weight. On the in-breath, feel the ribbon draw a little nearer. On the out-breath, watch tension slide slowly off the shoulders. Try a slow breathing rhythm with the image. Inhale for 3 counts. Hold for 1 soft beat. Exhale for 5 counts. Match the steps to the breath. Inhale and step toward the light. Exhale and let a small worry fall behind. Repeat this pattern until the body learns the motion. The rhythm trains the muscles to trust that the path will be lit as you go. The light shows the way in practical ways. It makes the edges of obstacles clear. It warms cold places. It reveals small, safe stones to use as steps. It does not whisk the journey away. It keeps company on the road. Knowing a light walks ahead changes how the feet move. The walk becomes less about urgent escape and more about careful arrival. Think of the light as a steady lantern held by a familiar hand. The hand does not thrust the lantern at you. It offers. You do not have to sprint to catch up. You simply follow at a measured pace. The lamp circle touches the next few steps. That closeness is enough to steady the pulse and unclench the jaw. Picture a small room that once felt crowded. In the corner sits a box of old fears. The light leans toward it. The box looks different under the lamp. The edges are softer. The lid is slightly ajar. A small breeze of mercy comes through, not to minimize, but to make room for breathing. The box shifts from being a pile that presses into the chest to being a container that can be set aside. If the night brings particular images that sting, name one of them inwardly. Say the word once in the quiet of the mind. Do not parade it. Do not examine it like a dissection. Hold it up briefly in the light. Watch how the light changes the shape. The mind is allowed to look, and then to close the book on it for now. The act of naming is gentle. It is not a demand for perfect memory or immediate healing. It is a handing over into illumination. The light also reveals safe harbor. Not every path needs to be walked alone. There are places to rest beneath the lamp. A low bench might sit beneath a closed tree. A small harbor holds the boat steady. The lamp keeps both bench and harbor visible. When tiredness comes, step into the circle. Let the body find pause. Let hands open without needing to perform. I read the thought again in soft words. Jesus says, He is the light of the world. I do not press the statement into a long sermon. I let it settle like a warm cloth. The cloth wraps around the places that ache from trying too hard. It does not fix everything instantly. It begins the gentle work of warming. A brief practice helps the image form in the body. Close the eyes gently, if that feels safe. Keep the hand over the heart. Breathe in slowly, imagining light pooling there. On the exhale, picture the light moving down the arms to the fingertips, then down the torso to the knees, finally to the soles of the feet. The motion is like oil smoothing stiff joints. The body becomes looser. The breath becomes more spacious. Sometimes the night stirs old questions. What of the things left undone? What of the hurts that linger? The light does not answer each question in full. It does something quieter. It keeps the immediate way visible. It makes the next step clear enough. Small steps are enough. They add up. The future does not have to be solved tonight. One lit step is enough for now. Imagine the light as a lighthouse over a low sea. Waves move, and the small boat rocks. The beam sweeps in a faithful arc. It marks safe water and warns of rocks. The presence of that beam helps hands steady the oars. Fear watches the beacon and learns that the tide is navigable. In this image, the light is not a harsh searchlight. It is a consistent signal of safety. Let the lamp on the bedside be a symbol. When eyes close, picture its glow held just beyond the pillow. If the mind wanders to worry, bring the attention back to the lamp's rim. Keep the gaze soft. The lamp's edge is a place to rest the eyes, and the thought, this small action redirects the nervousness into watching the steady flame. Earlier I spoke of mercy like a balm. Now see mercy as part of the light itself. The warmth that reaches you is not conditional. It does not weigh worth. It simply reaches. This kind of reaching loosens the compulsion to earn every comfort. It invites receiving. Receiving is not weakness. It is a small trust, a trust that someone who lights the path also knows how to guide kindly. If sleep resists, use a slower count. Inhale for 4. Hold a soft beat. Exhale for 6. On each out-breath, imagine a filament of light stretching a little farther across the room. Let the filament shelter a corner of the mind. Let it make a small cave of calm. If thoughts arrive, notice them and place them gently into that cave. Do not argue. Do not chase. Let the cave contain them until the morning. The presence of light changes small daily things. Decisions made in a calm light often look different. A harsh word softened by light loses its bite. An anxious plan, seen in illumination, reveals a simpler option. The light helps the heart choose fewer, clearer steps. The life that follows such small choices wears more comfort and less frantic striving. I fold the reading back into the body with one last practice. Place both hands on the chest. Fingers gentle. Breathe and think of one small shadow you wish to set down tonight. Picture it as a pebble. On the next out-breath, roll the pebble from the chest into the palm. Feel the relief of the small movement. Then imagine the lamp taking the pebble and placing it on a lampside shelf where it rests under watchful light. The pebble remains, but it no longer presses into the lungs. I offer a short blessing without loud words. May this light keep watch near the bed. May it soften edges and slow the pace of the mind. May the path ahead feel clearer. One lit step at a time. May mercy fall like warm rain into the places that ache. May hope find small room to breathe. The page closes slowly in my hands. The lamp lowers its gaze, but keeps the circle. Before I turn away, I set a small promise. I will return to read again. There are more passages to hold, and more slow practices to share. The next part will begin with the word guided. It will speak of faith as a quiet path, steadying the feet. When the eyes feel heavy, allow them to close. Let the lamp's picture be the last thing the mind keeps. Rest now in the light that does not leave. Sleep in the softened shape of hope. The room is quiet. A softer lamp throws a warm iris on the page. The Bible rests on my knees. My voice comes low and steady. I read a line that asks for a different kind of sight. It urges living by faith rather than by what the eyes can count. The sentence lays itself down like a small candle. I do not shout the words. They do not need loudness. They ask for a shift in posture. The shift is subtle. It is a turning of the foot toward a path you cannot yet see in full. The heart learns to trust its next step. I ask you to imagine a narrow bridge at night. The wood is old but sound. Fog sits low over the river. Only the nearest boards show under a pale moon. The rest of the bridge melts into mist. To stand at the edge and refuse to move keeps the cold and the worry tight. Taking a step is faith's small work. The next board appears under the sole as the foot lands. The next breath reveals one more plank. Faith is this tiny motion. It is not a grand vault into certainty. It is a decision to put weight on what is given for the next step. The giving is quiet. The support is there when the foot meets it. Trust is practiced in that slow sequence. I lay out a very small exercise. Set the hands loose in the lap. Place the fingertips together as if pausing between notes. Breathe in for 3 counts. Breathe out for 5. On the in-breath, picture the next board ahead. On the out-breath, let the stress behind the sternum ease. Repeat 3 times. The motion trains the muscles to expect a steady, progressive reveal, rather than a sudden fix. When uncertainty sits heavy, the mind likes to map all possible trouble. It rehearses future storms, as if rehearsal could stop them. Tonight, try a different rhythm. Imagine a lantern that only lights the next few feet of the bridge. It does not need to show the far end. The light is enough to choose the next safe plank. The work is not to know the whole route in advance. The small, lit step is enough. Faith sometimes looks like a narrow thread of music in the dark. A violinist plays from memory in a dim room. Fingers find places they cannot fully see because the music has been learned over time. The next note arrives because years of small practice have prepared the hand. So faith moves on a trained heart. It is not blind. It is formed by the rhythm of small, repeated trust. Hold a single small worry now. If one sits in the chest, name it in one quiet word. Do not build it into a list. Keep it as one pebble that fits in the palm. With another breath, imagine placing that pebble on the next plank. It sits there under the lantern. The plank holds it. The lantern does not have to banish every shadow. It only has to make the step safe for now. The practice is gentle and concrete. Breathe in. Think the word. Breathe out. Place the pebble. Let the body test the step. Notice how the shoulders respond. The jaw may soften. The throat releases a little. That small physiological change is faith's work in the body. Each tiny release makes the next move easier. Faith also holds a kind of memory. It remembers small mercies that arrived when the future looked empty. A friend's timely voice once said, a quiet change of plans that brought relief, a moment when strength returned after a long, slow drain. Keep one of those memories near the heart, like a pebble with a smooth edge. When doubt presses, bring that memory to mind. It is not proof against all questions. It is a gentle companion that remembers a pattern help often arrives. One image that helps is a lantern bearer who walks just ahead, not far beyond reach. The lantern warmth touches the shoulders, and the next few steps, the hand that holds the lantern knows the path in parts and in mercy. When the feet stumble, the hand steadies without scolding. The walk continues, one illuminated step at a time. There is a small habit to practice before sleep. Sit au lit quiet. Rest a hand lightly at the base of the throat and the other over the sternum. Breathe in slow, picturing a lantern just beyond the pillow. On the exhale, release a single tightness neck, shoulder, chest. Do this 5 times. Each cycle places your attention on the immediate lit step rather than on the fog ahead. Over time, the body learns to let the mind step softly. Fear sometimes disguises itself as the need to know everything. If I could only see it all. The thought whispers. The line I read tonight answers this with a softer tone. Living by faith does not ask for ignorance. It asks for trust that the path will be revealed in measure. The promise is not dramatic. It is a quiet steadying of what is within reach. When the mind grows loud with what-ifs, use a gentle boundary. Give the worry a short, appointed time. Let it speak for 5 measured minutes only. Sit with a pen and fold the concern into a small note. Then place the note under your pillow or on the bedside table. The physical act of setting it down teaches the nervous system that not every rehearsal needs endless stage time. The heart can rest between sessions of concern. Faith works in company as well. It is easier to cross a narrow bridge with a light near you and a hand not far away. When friends breathe with you in quiet and offer steady words, the path feels less stark. The presence of another steady hand does not make all questions vanish. It makes the crossing kinder. Tonight, accept that company in imagination if it is not present in person. Picture a friend a few steps ahead. Lantern in hand, turning sometimes to offer a soft word. Keep the theology simple and small. The aim is not a debate, but a restful practice. Trust is trained like a muscle. Small, repeated acts of reaching, breathing, and remembering strengthen it. Over time, the steps become a rhythm that the body begins to expect. The chest learns that a next plank often appears. The eyes relax from the strain of having to see every inch. There will be nights when the fog thickens and the lantern seems dim. Those nights are part of the journey. Move gently. Keep a hand on your chest and the other on the thigh. Breathe a count longer on the out-breath. Name one small task for tomorrow. Make it tiny. Let that smallness be a lamp of its own. Completing one small thing in daylight often gives the courage to trust a next step in darkness. Before I close this part, I offer a short calming practice to carry into sleep. Breathe in for 3 counts. Hold a soft beat. Breathe out for 6 counts. On each in-breath picture, the lantern settling a little closer to the heart. On each out-breath, imagine the next plank of the bridge revealing itself beneath the foot. Let the body follow the breath. Let the mind learn the motion of one lit step at a time. I will come back to this gentle path. There are more small passages to read and more quiet exercises to share. Next time, I will turn the page to a different kind of journey. It is a journey that begins with thanks. The psalm I will read asks strangers to enter a presence with gratitude and song. It teaches eyes to see not only what is uncertain, but what has already been given. For tonight, rest with the lantern near. Let the small steps be enough. Let the pebble in the palm be a reminder that not all weight must press on the throat. Allow the slow rhythm of breath to steady the walk. The fog does not decide the last word. Faith's next step often is, I close the book gently. My hand lingers on the cover, as if pausing on the bridge for a moment. The lamp keeps a hem of light by the pillow. May this quiet practice meet the uneasy parts of the night. May faith be a steady foot beneath the ribs. When sleep comes, let it carry these small motions into a slow, untroubled place. When the eyes are heavy, let them fall. I will be here to read again. The next part will invite gratitude into the slow heartbeat of the night. Rest now in the steady movement of one faithful step at a time. Sha'ah, a sense with thanksgiving. I open my hands and feel the small shape of the day. I speak of thanks in slow breaths. The words come like small coins placed on a table. Each coin has a gentle weight. I begin with senses. See one small thing you notice today. Maybe a gift face in a window. Maybe a bird settling on a wire. Maybe the way steam rose from a cup and carried a scent into a tired room. Name that sight in the mind. Hold it there like a pressed leaf. Listen for a sound that gave ease. A neighbor's soft footfall. A distant laugh. The hush of street lamps turning on. Let that sound rest behind the ribs. It settles like warm paper. Touch brings memory. A hand that brushed a shoulder in passing. A blanket that hugged the knees. A cool sheet at the back of the neck. Place the memory on the palm and feel its textures again. Taste a small sweetness that came without design. A spoon of honey. A piece of bread taken slowly. Let the taste fill the mouth again for one measured breath. Gratitude grows with the senses. I speak of moments that often go unnoticed. A door held open. A message that arrived at exactly the right time. A quiet voice that said only, I am here. These small mercies gather like stones in a pocket. They press near the heart. Naming mercy matters. Name 3 small things that were given today. Do not list everything. Choose 3 tiny gifts. Say each one quietly. Picture putting each gift into a small basket of light. The basket is easy to carry. It does not burden the shoulders. I invite a gentle practice. Breathe in slowly. Picture the first small gift resting in the chest. Breathe out and let the body soften around it. Breathe in again and bring the second gift to the mind's eye. Breathe out and watch gratitude spread through the shoulders. On the third in-breath, lift the last gift into the center of the chest. Hold it there with a soft hand. Feel a quiet warmth. Gratitude is not a parade of triumphs. It is a warm stitch in a frayed sleeve. It repairs small holes. It makes a pocket of comfort that the night can keep. It does not erase hard things. It gives a counterweight to worry. Consider a simple list of senses to calm the night. 1 sight, 1 sound, 1 touch, 1 taste, 1 small kindness. Repeat them slowly. Let each one be a bead on a string. Move from bead to bead with the breath. The motion becomes a slow, deliberate prayer. I encourage noticing people small and near. A friend who remembered your name. A barista who made the drink just so calm. A voicemail that turned out kinder than expected. These are the soft hands of the day. They shape the ordinary into something safe. Record 1 short line before sleep, on paper or in the quiet mind. Write a single sentence, something good that happened today. Keep it brief. Let it be a gift wrapped in 1 breath. The act of writing fixes the moment in place. It keeps the memory from slipping away. There is a practice of letting gratitude expand slowly. Begin with the smallest thing. Let it warm the center. Then reach outward and name 1 more thing. Lagano. Perhaps a help given or received. With every small reach, the heart learns to make room for more kindness. The chest becomes a house for these memories. I speak now about thanks for the gifts that are not bright. A tired hand that still finds a new task. A patient silence in a difficult conversation. A promise kept in ways no one announces. These quiet gifts are heavy with grace. They do not glitter, but they mend the seams of a tired day. Make a small ritual of offering thanks aloud. Say a short phrase in the dark if it helps. Thank you for this. Keep it soft. The voice is not needed to be loud. It is enough that the thought moves from mind to the small altar of the night. If grief sits beside a gratitude, do not force a trade. Let both be present. Both may be held in the hands. The two do not cancel one another. Instead, they live together like a cup and saucer. The cup holds the heavy thought. The saucer keeps the spill from staining everything else. Naming both can be an act of mercy. I invite a slow breathing pattern to collect thanksgiving. Inhale for 3 counts. Hold briefly. Exhale for 5 counts. On each in-breath, bring a small memory forward. On each out-breath, let the body receive it. Repeat until the heart feels a little fuller and the jaw softens. Place 1 small object by the bedside to symbolize gratitude. It can be a pebble, a scrap of fabric, a single dried leaf. When the mind wanders, reach for that object either with thought or with hand. Let it be an anchor that says, remember. The object does not need explanation. Its presence is enough. I remind the listener that gratitude is not a demand to feel thankful for everything. It is a little turning toward the good that already exists. No matter how thin, that turn keeps the line of the night from being swallowed by worry. It makes a path of small lights. Practice gentleness toward the self. If today felt failing or small, find 1 thing that did not fail, a breath that held, a small kindness given, a moment not ruined. Keep that as the seed to plant in the heart. Tomorrow grows from small seeds. I offer a closing picture for this part. See a bowl on a low table. One by one you place the tokens of the day into it, 3 small stones of thanks. A folded scrap for mercy. A leaf for rest. The bowl fills quietly. It sits by the bedside like a promise kept. In the hush, it radiates warmth without noise. Before I move on, take one small breath and name aloud in the mind a single word of thanks. Let it rest there. Let that single word be enough to close this part. Hold the basket of small gifts in the chest. Keep the bowl by the bed. The night will not take them away. Shazam, a prayerful good night. I turn the page slowly and let my hand rest on the worn edge. The verse sits like an easy resolve. I will lie down and sleep, for the Lord makes me dwell in safety. I say it softly and let the measure of the sentence become a small rhythm. Lie down now. Feel the mattress under the body. Notice the points where the weight meets the bed. The meeting is a fact. Allow the body to acknowledge the support beneath it. Let the limbs unwind by the measure of that support. I read the verse again in simple words. I will lie down and sleep. Let those words settle. They are not a command to force sleep. They are an invitation to rest within a steady presence. The promise follows, for God makes me dwell in safety. Safety here is not a loud fortress. It is a quiet room where breath can slow. There is a practice to close the day with this promise. Place one hand over the heart and feel the beat. Think, I will lie down, breathe, and let the words move from mind to muscle. Feel the shoulders move away from the ears. The jaw softens. The feet slacken. Imagine a small room within the chest where safety lives. It is not a place of soaring walls. It is a simple chamber with a low bed and a dim lamp. The lamp does not glare. It steady glows. The one who watches sits near, patient and near. This is the safety the verse offers. Breathe with me in this way. Inhale for 3 counts and gather the day. Exhale for 5 and place it down. On the next in-breath, affirm the sentence in the mind. I will lie down and sleep. On the exhale, receive the assurance that dwelling in safety is given now, not after earning it. If the night brings old alarms, do not meet them with argument. Bring them to the small room instead. Name them once and set them on a chair beside the bed. They do not have power to pull the room apart. They may sit there while the lamp burns steady. Let the lamp's simple light dilute the sharpness of each worry. I pray in a quiet tone that is meant as a blessing rather than an argument. May sleep come in gentle waves. May the breath find its slow measure. May the heart rest without needing to solve what morning will ask. May mercy lay a small hand on every unrest. This is a prayerful good night that asks only for a soft reception. There is comfort in a final ritual. Fold hands loosely and imagine the night as a cloak draped over the shoulders. It is not a heavy wool. It is light and warm. The cloak covers without smothering. It allows the body to breathe under it. The marrow cools and settles. Trusting to the promise does not mean all fear vanishes. It means fear no longer rules the pillow. If tears come, let them. If silence presses, receive it. Both are known in the small room of safety. The presence that watches does not require perfect stillness. It simply stays. I guide a short surrender. Place the day's 3 small stones, the ones of thanksgiving, into the palm. Speak an inward word of handing them over. Lay them down on the bedside table in the mind. Watch the hand that receives them. Take them with care. The exchange is quiet. It lightens the chest. I offer a single prayer from this quiet place. The words are simple and slow. I breathe each line. I will lie down now. I give the day into steady hands. I rest in the safety that is given. Amen. The Amen is not a seal. It is a soft closing of the hand. If sleep does not come at once, meet the wakefulness with the same calm. Breathe. Return to the verse. Repeat the sentence like a lullaby. I will lie down and sleep. Let it be a soft rhythm under the noise. Over time, the pattern steadies the pulse. It often leads the mind to a gentle place. Before I stand, I place one last image near the bed. A small lamp rests on a windowsill. It looks out over a quiet street. The light does not need to be large. Its circle is enough to keep the night from feeling empty. When thoughts intrude, imagine turning the lamp slightly so its glow meets the thought. The light alters the shadow's shape. Worry becomes smaller. I close with a blessing meant to stay with the sleeping. May the night renew the worn places. May the breath carry mercy into tired joints. May hope settle like a feather on the heart. May the promise of safety be true in the small and the large. May rest come, steady and healing. The Bible closes with a soft sound. My hand lingers on the cover. The lamp gives one more patient round. I will return to read again. For now, lie down and sleep. The presence that keeps watch does not sleep. Rest in that. Good night. I come back to the bedside with the Bible in my hands. The lamp is low. The page is warm under my palm. I settle into the same chair. The room keeps a steady hush. Tonight, the reading is softer than usual. My voice moves like a slow tide. I turn a page and let my finger rest on the lines. I do not rush. The words I read are not long. They are an invitation to rest. I do not argue. I simply hand them over, like placing a small lamp on the table beside you. Breathe with me. Inhale for 3. Hold a breath as if cupping a small flame. Exhale for 5. Let this rhythm be the bridge from the day into night. Each cycle loosens a muscle. Each release spreads a little ease through the arms and the back. The breath becomes a soft instrument that plays a lullaby for the body. I read of a shelter that is tender rather than strong. It is not a fortress. It is a little room with a low roof and a comfortable chair. A person sits there who knows how to listen. The quiet in that space does not require answers. It only asks for trust. Let that image be a refuge. For now, picture the lamp on the sill. Picture the chair pulled close. Imagine the room warmed by a slow, steady presence that does not push. Hands come next to the practice. Place one palm over the heart. Keep the other hand loose on the thigh. Feel the steady rise beneath the left palm. Let the hand be a gentle reminder that the chest has its own rhythm. Breathe in and imagine that rhythm widening like a soft curtain. Breathe out and let the shoulders drop a fraction. Repeat twice. Small shifts make steady changes. I read a passage that names mercy as a nightly companion. Mercy does not speak loudly. It moves with quiet gestures. It gathers what the day has frayed and lays a thin cloth over the raw places. See the mercy in a new way tonight, not as a judgment removed, but as a small mending. Allow the idea of mending to rest in the same place where worry used to sit. There is a short exercise I like to offer now. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Picture a narrow strip of light lying across the bed, from the pillow to the knees. On the first in-breath, imagine drawing that strip of light into the chest. On the exhale, let it move down into the legs and out to the soles of the feet. Do this 3 times. Each time, the light feels less like a glare and more like a warming balm. The body follows the image slowly. I read again, but now with a softer bend to the vowels. The lines speak of hands that steady. They say help comes like a hand resting at the back of the neck, not to force away, but to steady the step. Think of a friend who once steadied you on uneven ground. Hold that small memory in the hands of the present moment. Let the memory be proof that help often arrives in soft forms. Let go of the long lists for tonight. Choose one small thing that has been circling in the mind. Make it as small as possible. Name it quietly, in a single word. Fold that word into an imagined cloth and tuck it into the pocket on the inside of the coat that rests on the chair. This motion is not denial. It is stewardship of attention. The pocket keeps the worry near, but it no longer presses against the lungs. If the mind protests and begins rehearsing futures, I offer a gentle boundary. Give the mind 5 measured minutes. Set a soft timer if that helps. Let it speak its fear plainly. When the time ends, gather the words and place them in the pocket. Close the fold. This small ritual trains the nervous system to expect limits. Over time, the practice loosens the hold of the rehearsals. I turn the page and read a promise about a gift that is not earned. Grace comes like a simple cloak placed over shoulders. It is practical and breathable. It does not smother. It keeps the chill out and allows movement. Imagine that cloak slipping around the shoulders now. Feel the shoulders unbrace. The spine finds a less rigid line. The body remembers a softer way to stand. There is comfort in remembering small kindnesses. Think of 3 small things that came today. Not big events, tiny mercies. A tongue of sunlight on the windowsill. A kind word from a stranger. A small task completed and put away. Name each one quietly. Let them be stones placed in a bowl beside the bed. The stones do not solve everything. They steady the hand. I speak now a short, steady prayer, said slowly and without grand language. The prayer is simple. It places the day and the small stones into a steady keeping. I do not ask for a sudden clearing. I ask for safekeeping. I ask for breath to remain slow. I ask that mercy meet the places that ache. I offer the prayer as a small hand laid on the shoulder of the night. As I read, I imagine a narrow harbor. The boat is small and not grand. It rocks and takes the rhythm of the wave. The harbor walls are made of low stones and hands that have mended many things. Each wave is not a disaster. It is a small motion that the harbor accepts. Let your heart be that boat. You do not row through the night. You rest in the steadiness of the harbor. There is one more breathing practice. Count slowly. Inhale for 4. Hold for 1. Exhale for 6. On the out-breath, imagine each part of the day you cannot change sliding down into the earth like a leaf, making its way to the water. Watch as the leaf becomes a part of the current, beyond your soul keeping. Repeat this 3 times. Let the body learn the motion of release. I fold the reading toward its close. The pages make a small sound. My hand lingers on the spine like a benediction. I speak the final lines with care. I will lie down and sleep. I say in my mind and out loud in a hush, I will place the day in steady hands. I will rest. The promise is not an order. It is an invitation to dwell. Before the room drifts entirely into stillness, I remind you of simple, small practices to carry forward. Keep a single watchword. One short word that returns attention when worry pulls words like enough. Stay. Rest. Place one small object by the bedside to anchor the memory of mercy. Write one brief note of thanks or tuck a pebble into a bowl. These small things make the night a place where the heart can learn a new rhythm. A short blessing follows. May the breath find its even measure. May mercy and hope sit at the edge of the pillow like quiet guests. May the light that does not demand brilliance keep a small corner bright. May the hand that steadies be near. I speak the blessing slowly and place it like a small lantern before you. Now I close the Bible and set it down softly. The cover is warm beneath my palm. I rest my hand there for a breath. The house hums in low tides. The lamp keeps a narrow circle. I promise return. There are more pages to open. There are more small practices to share. As I prepare to rest, I offer a prayer for peaceful slumber, trusting God to watch over the night. I do not ask for perfect sleep. I ask for faithful presence. I breathe in the promise and breathe out the day. The body yields a little. The shoulders lower. The eyes grow heavy. Lie down now. Feel the mattress beneath you. Notice the points of support. Let the limbs loosen by the measure of the bed. Allow the mind to fold the day into the pocket on the chair. Let the cloak of grace cover the shoulders. Keep the lamp in your mind as a thin, steady thread of light. If worry comes, bring it to the pocket and tuck it in. If gratitude comes, place it in the bowl beside the bed. Tonight, rest in a small room of safety. Let the presence that keeps watch be the last sound you hold. Sleep if it comes. If wakefulness lingers, meet it with the same slow breath. Return to the simple practice's breath. Naming, pocket, light. They are small, but they shape the night. I stand now with the Bible closed and my hand resting on the cover for a last soft benediction. The lamp shrinks its circle to the edge of the room. The house listens. The presence that watches does not sleep. Rest in that. Good night.